Good evening, everyone. Happy Thursday. Any yet Josh that any. Hi, everybody. Come on in, say hello. 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 So this is not. Let me change something real quick because y'all are going to be saying. Um, let's see. Trying to. Where can I change that? Listen, this is why I don't do text stuff. Um, oh well, I'll figure that out later. Hi everyone. Happy Thursday. What's going on, people? Hi everyone. How was your week? Can y'all believe it's already end of the week? Like this week went back by real fast. And does anyone feel like does it yeah, my day was good. It's been a back to back pow kind of week because I have a lot um to I had a lot and I had court because I do criminal defense and family law as well. So I had court. So but it's all good. Come on in everyone. Say hello when you come in on. I hope you all had a wonderful week. It's been for the most part, knock on wood, we've got really, really good news this week for our clients. So that's always good. Hello, Miss Giwa. How are you? Hello, Elianos. Thank you. before I say the number, you already have it there. Okay, so if you're on Instagram, we need the number. That's the number right there. 334-341-4475. I'm telling you, days running like the world is about to end. You better believe that. Anyway, come on in, everyone. It's another live Thursdays. Let's talk immigration. Let's talk immigration. Let's talk immigration. Anybody got any approvals this week? Thank you, Miss Juliet. How are you? Did anybody get approvals this week? Any approvals? Green cards issued. Y'all, USCIS is issuing green cards without interviews. Make sure you send in every single thing you need to send in from the beginning. Increase your chances of having your interview waived. They're waiving interviews. USCIS is waiving interviews. They're waiving interviews. And we had no, I don't have a consultation discount anytime soon, and I don't have a consultation discount for students. Because y'all students are even richer than some of us that are working full time. Truth be told, y'all have really rich parents who are sponsoring. Listen, I didn't go to school here. Well, then I take that back. Well, I didn't go to the full school because I went back to law school. Anyway, I digress. But anyway, you got your interview scheduled. Awesome news. Awesome news. Amazing. That is wonderful. Talking about you got your prima facie cookies, baby. Awesome. I love to hear good news. I love good news. If you haven't met me before, this is attorney Abisola Adebola Olale. I am an immigration attorney based in Alabama, Demopolis, Alabama, representing immigration clients in all 50 states. And if you've got an immigration case that we can help you with, well, cookies, baby, is the other way around, but it's all good. Facial prima facie. Thank you, Mr. Kelvin. That's what I was going to bring up. I'm going to have her come on sometime, my client, and talking of N400, y'all. So I scared my client. I really did scare her. And I knew that I'm a babasa. Yes, I knew that I scared her because this lady's story is when I tell you that when God's favor decides to shine upon you, and then he decides to throw CC lawyer into the mix of all that. Sometimes I may, like strike a match and it may burn the whole place down, but hopefully, because that's what I thought was going to happen in this one. But I am so happy for my client. It's been a long time coming. She's been through it. I mean, she's been on this immigration journey for over 2 decades. In that 2 decades, over 2 decade span, in a abusive marriage, divorce, landed her in removal proceedings. She was in removal proceedings, without cancellation removal. Then we filed for citizenship. We had an interview back in September. I had 4 interviews on that day, September 7th. I had 4 N400 interviews, 2 in New York, 1 in Chicago, and 1 in Jacksonville, Florida. 4. All the other 3 from that day were all approved within that week. Actually, the next day, we got the email notification, but hers. Yes, 2 decades. And I told her, like, 𝒊𝒎𝒎𝒊𝒈𝒓𝒂𝒏𝒕, your story hasn't been, there's been a lot of detours. So I told her, I said, hey, the law is USCIS has 120 days from the time you have your N400 interview to make a decision. So let's give them till end of January. And make a decision. Then we'll send them demand letter. Yo, you know how you tell you on YouTube videos, don't try this at home? Yeah, that's my some of my letters are like fighting words. Oh my God, we're already about launch that. You could have gone the other way. Some of my sentiment letters, that's usually my last resort before I basically threatening lawsuit. But it's not like, hey, if you don't, please. No, I don't even use please, because at that point, I'm not asking you for, I'm not begging you to do nothing, I'm telling you got to do it. So 120 days passed by. I told her, okay, we're going to send a demand letter. So we sent a demand letter, and this has been pending since September 7th. So October, November, December, January, 5 months, more than 120 days. And I did not give her a copy of the letter before it was sent. I already sent a copy. Every single client of mine, whenever we send anything to USCIS, within 48 hours, that is just the standard policy in my firm. You will get a link to download a copy of your file. So you ain't going to say, Cecilia, for me, no. You get a copy of your file. But I did not give her that until it had been mailed. And normally she would acknowledge things, but when she did not acknowledge that, I was like, okay, she's probably pissed off. Like, okay. Yeah, this case, exactly. I knew she was like, auntie to go by me. Cecilia, USCIS. Anyway, long story short, people. USCIS got that demand letter just this morning. See how God works? They got the demand letter just this morning. On my way out of the office, just looked at my email, checked my email at 5. I think the timestamp is on there, 5 something. Got the alert that she's been recommended for approval and placed in line for oath ceremony. And then I called her and like, have you seen your email? She goes, no, what? I like, check your email. And I think I think I see her on here. Check your email. And she screamed. Then she tells me, this lawyer, I was not happy 2 days ago because I saw the letter where you sent. Because I said I knew you weren't happy because normally you would acknowledge my email and I always send me a text. Since you did not send me, I'm like, okay. She goes, but when I read that letter, she's on. I knew it. She's just there and I'm watching you now. she's gonna come on here one day, but so she's listening. What we talked earlier this week. When I saw that letter, I showed my mom like, mommy, this is lawyer to write me, something to that effect. She didn't show her mom the letter, but she read some part. Like, if I get this letter, okay, if I get this letter, I will be angry. Like, I will like, who the hell do you think you are? And she was like, she just said, I just started praying. And she goes, but it worked. It worked. Was I scared myself? I was. Because I pushed the envelope. But even sometimes I know, bisola. It was gone. It's an equal, but later she, Jesus. Listen, and long story short, I just told them, hey, if you don't make a decision within 30 days, we're going to file a lawsuit. That's all. I mean, that's what the law says. But the way I worded it was just very, very direct. And I was like, what's the worst that can happen? If they deny it, because I was thinking, what's the basis of denial? And we knew what the delay was, but okay, we've already sent you the information you wanted. So what else? What you got? Bring it on. So, and when I mailed it, like, hello, please. I always send out my packages with prayer. Sometimes because I have anointing oil in my office, so sometimes there's some cases like I just put a dab of anointing oil that you know. Listen, I believe so much in the power of prayer. I've seen Jesus do things that I'm like, yes. So my license plate number on my car is Iyanu, God's wonder. That's my license because I've seen his mercy and his goodness and have seen God turn impossibilities to possibilities. So when we got that notification, to just hear her scream the way she did and cry, it's been, I mean, I'm getting teary, I'm getting emotional because to know that her journey has ended in praise after all these years, she's going to be sworn in as a citizen. How amazing is God? How amazing is God? And he is a God of the suddenly. Hey, he's a God of the suddenly. When Jesus speaks, they got that letter this morning and God instructed them to approve immediately. It wasn't anything that I did or said or wrote. I mean, listen, okay, he used me as an instrument. But at the end of the day, all the glory belongs to Jehovah. All the glory belongs to God. So that is her testimony. She's gonna come with me next one and let it. I think I would let her just get sworn in first. Okay, she's texting me. That is the way anointing oil. Hey, I'm a Niger woman. Anointing oil works wonders, and you just you speak. I always read Psalms over it, and yeah, Shogun, nothing is God. I mean, what else do I have besides the mercy and the power of Jehovah? But anyway, come on in. Let's talk immigration. If we can help you with immigration cases, our contact information is 334-341-4475. You can text us on that number to the regular phone, as well as on WhatsApp. Go on our website, olalayalawfirm.com. My letter was real scary, but even I sometimes like, okay, am I going to do that kind of real direct, bam, bam, bam kind of letter again? I can't tell you no, knowing my kind of personality. But maybe what I'll do differently is to tell the client. Because if I had gone the other way around, but then again, I may not. Listen, I don't know. I guess I thank you once again for trusting me. Thank you, Illinois, once again, 334-341-4475. But most importantly, thank you for trusting that God would use people in our lives to fulfill our destinies. So that's her testimony. I'm so happy. Listen, I always tell y'all that I rejoice with my clients. You would think I'm the one getting my citizenship all over again. I've had mine for almost 10 years, but there's no greater feeling to know that somebody is just, their life is moving forward, or things are just beginning to shake around in their favor. There's no greater feeling. But anyway, please share, like our Facebook page, Instagram, subscribe to our YouTube channel, follow us on TikTok. We will really appreciate that. If we have time, I'll just take one video question and we'll go from there. But this night, let's talk about all things asylum. On all platforms, put in Olale Immigration, and you will be able to see this salt and pepper hair girl. That's what my son says. Your face looks young. Your hair looks like grandma's hair. American kids will say anything. They are not afraid of anything. American kids. Especially my 12-year-old TJ. TJ is his mother's child. He's got my mouth, and Ali saw anything. I'm just glad he didn't come as a girl, because if he came as a girl, she probably would leave even my mother. Because imagine two people like me in the same household. I'm thinking of that right now, and I'd rather not think about that because I know who I am. But anyway, let's talk all things asylum. What has been happening in the asylum world? Let's talk about it. Come on in. Please subscribe to YouTube. Follow us on all other platforms, Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. I put up a skit on TikTok today. The funny thing is, and I'm going to post it later when I'm done, or Lydia will help me post it. Hopefully she can get it. Don't fear face. tell you, but I sometimes I think but listen, but let me text her and see if she can post it before we're done. But if you go on YouTube, on TikTok, you see that video. The funny thing is, just this morning, I did a skit about sending a letter to USCIS and telling Jesus, okay, you're gonna have to forgive me on this one because this letter has to go. And let me text him to how to put it up on Facebook, and that was before I had received a USPS notification that it was delivered this morning, and I just checked my email, but to send this letter, you ain't gonna be mad at me. And lo and behold, we got that. So anyway, asylum. What is asylum, and who's eligible to file asylum? Asylum is basically you coming to the United States and seeking protection from your home country because you have a well-founded fear of persecution if you have to return home, based on race, religion, nationality, political opinion, or being a member of a particular social group. Example would be FGM, traditions like tribal marks, cult, gangs, domestic violence in your home country. So you're seeking protection, and that means you cannot go back to that country that you said, and your government in your home country is unwilling and or unable to protect your interests or keep you safe. When you are required to file for asylum within the first year of entry into the United States. If you do not file for asylum within the first year of entry, you must have an exception to filing within that first year, meaning there's been changes in country conditions, there's been extraordinary circumstances, or changes in your personal circumstances. It's got to fall within one of those exceptions. An example of changes in your own personal circumstances will be if you've been a non-immigrant, valid non-immigrant status. Say, for instance, you're a student and your program is coming to an end in the next 2, 3, 4 months, and you have something that is you fear that if you go back, this is what is going to happen to you. You're going to be harmed in one way or the other based on those grounds. That is an example of changing your personal circumstances that allows you to file for asylum outside the 1-year statutory period. Okay. So a lot of people ask me this question. Can I file for asylum outside the country? No, you cannot. You can only seek asylum while you are physically present in the United States. The equivalent of filing of asylum outside the United States is refugee status. Asking to be filing a refugee application is the same requirement. It's just that refugees are applications are filed outside the United States. Asylum must be filed while you are physically present in the United States. So both of them, you're seeking protection from your home country or the country of your last residence where you fear going back to. So that's basically that in a nutshell. You've got to be able to sustain your asylum standard of proof is credible fear. You have to have credible evidence, at least 10% probability that you will be subjected to that persecution. Even though it's 10% probability, asylums are very, very hard to get granted. So I always tell people, and the thing about asylum is this: when you file for asylum, if it's denied at the asylum office and you have no fallback non-immigrant status, it is an automatic referral to immigration court. Your decision will tell you this is not a denial, it's a referral, but technically it is you being placed in removal proceedings unless you have a fallback status. So a lot of people do not even know that. Whenever anyone consults me with asylum for the first time, I tell you, hey, we're hopeful that it's going to get approved. But if it doesn't get approved, this is what is going to happen if you're no longer in a valid status. Now, let me go a step further. A lot of people tell me, well, I filed for asylum before my I-94 expired. So that means I'm allowed to stay in the country. Okay. When you file for asylum, you are granted authorized stay. There is a difference between authorized stay and valid non-immigrant status. Being granted authorized stay just means that during that time, until a decision has been made in your asylum case, USCIS cannot place you in removal proceedings You're allowed to file for employment authorization and work. You can file for advanced parole and travel. Authorized state. But once they make a decision that's not favorable to you, then that authorized state period terminates and you will be placed in removal proceedings unless you have a fallback status that still is valid after that referral denial. So asylum does not give you a legal status. It doesn't give you a legal status. It just authorizes you to stay in the country until they make a decision in your case. All right. When you are not granted asylum, you become an asylee, right? And the law used to be that you have to wait 1 year before. So asylum actually leads to you becoming a permanent resident, meaning being able to apply for your green card. However, until last week, the law has always been, or was it the week before? I think it was last week. The law has always been that before you can apply for permanent residency, when you've been granted asylee status, keep in mind, I consult with some people and they tell me because you have to fill a short intake. So before I have a consultation, I would read through that intake. And then people will write, there's a question that says, what is your current immigration status? And people will write asylee. And then I'm wondering, okay, so if we're an asylee, why are we trying to get an expedited interview? So by asking I want to expedite interview, that already tells me you're most likely not an asylee yet. So the fact that you have a pending asylum application does not mean you're an asylee. An asylee is someone who has been granted asylum. They've had their interview and they have been granted the asylum status. If your case is still pending, you are an asylum seeker. You're not an asylee at that point yet. So once you now get your asylum conferred and you become an asylee, normally you would have to wait 1 year before you're able to file for your green card. That has changed, people. That has changed. Now, USCIS will, so now asylees are able to and eligible to file for adjustment of status before even less than a year after being granted asylee status. Let me say that again. Generally, until last week, you have to wait 1 year before you become eligible to file for green card based on being granted asylum. That has changed now. The new requirement now is that at the time USCIS adjudicates your I-485, at the time that they make a decision, be it to waive interview, be it to schedule an interview, at the time of adjudication, the asylee must have been physically present in the United States for at least a year. So example would be, if you go, and how would you know how to calculate that? And I've been telling you because I've had a lot of questions on that. And I've been telling people saying, what I would suggest to do is this. Look at how long it's taken them to process the I-485 generally for people you know, or you can call and get an estimated time frame that for people who have filed adjustment of status based on asylum, right? And then there's no concrete way of calculating, but if you average how long USCIS is taking to adjudicate I-485s, that gives you an idea of, okay, so after 6 months, if it's taking them, so example, if it's taking them 6 months to adjudicate I-485, so you get your asylee status today, you wait 6 months till about August, right? You file for it, as long as at the time that they pull your file, your application to adjudicate and decide upon that application, as long as you've now been physically present in the United States for at least a year, then your green card application will be granted. Yeah, so you're no longer as an asylee, you no longer have to wait the whole year before filing for your green card application. So that's that. The other thing with asylee is this. A lot of asylum, when you file for asylum and you come into the country on a J1 visa, most people usually subjected to the 2-year home residence rule. 2-year home residence rule basically says that you cannot change and or adjust your status either from one non-immigrant status to another, or trying to adjust to become a permanent resident, if you are subject to that 2-year home residency rule, you either have to go back to your home country and wait out that 2 years. It doesn't have to be all at once. It can be in aggregates, or you have to get a waiver of that home residency requirement before you become eligible to either change and or adjust status. With the new policy, USCIS is completely doing away with that when it comes to asylum asylees. If you've been granted asylum, you're now an asylee, and you came in on a J1 visa, USCIS will no longer require you to file for a waiver of that 2-year home residence rule and or go back to your home country to wait out 2 years before you now are able to apply for your green card. That's been taken out. So if you are someone who came on a J1 and you're thinking of filing for asylum, and you qualify, I'd say go for it. Because at the end of the day, you want to be able to adjust your status. They're saying that you're not going to be required any longer to either get a waiver of that 2-year home residency rule or to go back home. You granted asylum. Once you become eligible to apply for your green card application, you can without having to first deal with waiver. Because listen, y'all, it's a whole lot going on in the immigration world. So, but those are the updates as far as asylum is concerned. So if you think that it's always best to file your asylum application within the first year of entry. The best time. But so I have cases that we filed, and I have cases that are pending that we're going to file. And I've got to make sure we can craft a brief that explains why my client is filing outside the 1-year statutory period. Fingers crossed. I love challenges. I'm not afraid of denials. I know there are some attorneys who would literally not take a case that they know they cannot win. My brain just doesn't work that way. I am someone who I would attempt it. As long as, now I'll tell you upfront, hey, I can never guarantee any outcome in anything. But I'll tell you, hey, listen, this is what, but I'm just going to let you know, as long as you're okay with it, because you ain't going to come back and say, sister lawyer, I just, no, remember I told you in my contract that, and I put it in bold, uppercase font, there is no, I cannot guarantee, you got to make sure that you understand. But as long as we're on the same page, I take chances. I'll go for it. Hey, what's the worst that can happen? It gets denied, right? So we're loser. Like, I don't like losing, but it's all good. You live and learn. So that's all she wrote. Okay, extra eyes so we can see better. Extra eyes so I can see. All right, people. Let's see. So let me take this off and then I can start. I'll just go this way and come back again. Let's see. Okay, so let me hide this and go to comments. Hello, Jennifer. I took your advice and was able to get the biometrics done at the closet. Told ya. Haha. So y'all listen. Y'all listen. I don't know everything, but there's some things that if I know, I'm going to share with you guys. That's why I don't do free consultation, because I share a whole lot already. So I ain't going to sit down 30 minutes for free. That's how I make a living. I got 2 kids that I got to feed, and I got one heading to college, and they're sending us, what they're sending us, listen, I have to give a shout out to my ex-husband. That guy is, when it comes to taking care of his kids, there's nothing I can say. Because my kids are in private school, I am paying tuition. Their dad has been responsible for that. But I'm going to be paying part of college now. So it's been a free ride. But so I got to pay for college. But my kids have been, my ex-husband there's nothing those boys need that he does not provide. There's nothing else I can say about that. So I thank God. And, I always tell my kids, we're required to take care of you. Thank you, Illinois. But there is nothing that they need that he does not provide. He is an excellent provider, and those kids are taken care of. Private school tuition, going to college. So we're talking about today. He sent us an email because he has to be on campus for the first year. So we're like, okay, this kid, this American kid has no clue what dorm life is like. So we got to work hard and try to get him premium housing, and his daddy's on it. Now I got to pay something too because that's what the divorce decree says. But but even if I don't, if I choose, okay, I ain't paying, I can guarantee you that guy will pay, guaranteed. Um, and I just pray that God continues to bless him, and he's a physician. That God continues to bless him and increase him. If you put in Dr. Olale, so you will see him. So I digress. Anyway, Jennifer, whenever I have information that I can share, I do share. So Jennifer says, for those on TikTok and Instagram, a good evening, Sister Lloyd. Thank you so much for all you do. I took your advice and was able to get the biometrics done at the closest application support center to my physical address. Okay. And then she says, you said 99% of the time they will honor it, even if it's not the specified location, and you were right. Aha. That's what I'm saying. Yeah, they will. Now you will. That's why I said 99% because there's still that 1% of people who are just like, in every. So I was listening to something today on my way to work, and someone said something that resonated with me. That if you are doing what you're supposed to do and you're chasing after your purpose in life, and you have haters, keep doing what you're doing, because that means you are making an impact. And there's some people who just can't stand the fact that you are succeeding. And they're like, wow, no truer words have been spoken. Because someone who is living, who's just doing mediocrity, no one's going to come to like, okay, you're just by the wayside. It's when God elevates you and makes you rise, that's when people come like, that's just the truth. So, so there's always going to be that 1%. USCIS support centers like I know we can't take you. That's just life. In every aspect of life, there's always going to be the negative people. So, but just leave that. But for 99% of the time, same date, time, same time and date, most of the application support centers will let you in, no issues. Okay. All righty. Let me go to. Let me do TikTok first. Let's see. TikTok people 𝒊𝒎𝒎𝒊𝒈𝒓. Lord have mercy. Maybe I should do Instagram first. I'll be back. There's a lot of questions. TikTok me. Well, I'm not really sure even people on Instagram. 𝒊𝒎𝒎𝒊𝒈𝒓. Why is this annoying? Okay, let's see. So, thank you, King Nancy. How are you? Hello, God's favorite. I am good. I hope your day has been kind to you. Hello, Mr. 𝒊𝒎𝒎𝒊𝒈𝒓. You made it tonight. How was your day? 𝐸𝐺𝐻 2015. Good evening to you as well. 𝒂𝒏𝒕𝒔. Even though you're back idea. Don't try me. I try to stress myself a lot, but hey, listen, I'm always on the go. I arrived through Mexico to America. A year has passed so far. I don't have work authorization and number. I would say sit down with an attorney to discuss your case. Thank you, Ms. 𝒊𝒎𝒎𝒊𝒈𝒓. Okay. Okay. After filing for VAWA, how long will it take to get approved or be sent your work permits after you receive notice? That varies a lot. I got a work permit today, and we filed it in December. We just got the receipt notices, I think, either a week or 2 weeks ago. We didn't even have the prima facie yet. My client does, it's not even done biometrics yet. So there's no rhyme or rhythm with USCIS, I'm telling you. My lawyer said I should wait until interview before sending my medicals. Since interviews are being waived, should I send it? I would agree with your lawyer. Wait, let them send you either an RFE for that or an interview notice. Hello, Mr. Rashid. I'm doing well. Tunde Professor, Ekale láti DMV. Ekale o. Ìyára Maryland and Co. Àlàáfíà lẹ́wà. DC and Maryland and Virginia people. Okay. Yes, God's favorite 82. Yep. 2 decades. She's been on this immigration journey 2 decades. God is just amazing. I'm telling you. I always tell people this because, I never judge anyone's religion, whatever, to each their own. Um, there are those who are atheists, and if you believe there's no God, that's okay. But I'd rather serve God and believe that He exists. Put this back up so you can see that. Than to say, okay, I haven't seen God, so what's the point? Because I've seen His hand in my life. If at the end of this journey called life, there is no God, it won't be a waste of time. it won't be a waste of time, whether or not. So I'd rather, that's it. That's just me. As a British citizen, registered nurse, I would like to relocate to the U.S. Please, what is the best route you think? Best route for you will probably be the either Schedule A, where you can get agencies to file for you as a Schedule A employee, and that's employment-based green card petition. That's probably going to be your best option. Yeah. Okay, let's see. Hello, Miss Simi Balogun. I know we just chatted not too long ago. My younger sister's name is Simi Sola. So you share the same name with my sister. Thank you, Novi. I appreciate that. Anointing or sure works. Better believe it. Better believe it. And even if it doesn't work, hey. I mean, today I took my packages to the post office, and the lady who's usually there, she goes, Abby, why do your packages have oil in them? I say, I don't know. Don't ask, don't tell. Kí ló fa ìbéèrè àti question and answer? I know. She's like, oh, just felt something oily. I'm like, oh, you did? Okay. I know. Don't be asking me questions. Leave it alone. Mind your business. Thank you, Miss Grace. I appreciate that. Yeah, my smile is different because I genuinely just rejoice with my clients. Um, Whenever we get RFAs or denials, because listen, there is no one who is passionate in their work that will tell you, oh, they only get approvals. The immigration attorney can only get approvals based on specific selections of, okay, I can win this and that's it. Who knows what's going to happen? There's some cases that I win are like, how'd that happen? And there's sometimes, like, what were they thinking? It's, you just never know. But I don't know how to hide my feelings. I wear my emotions on my sleeves. If I'm happy or cold or hot or just pissed off or not in the mood. But just to rejoice with people, just to know that someone has been on this thing for so long. And I mean, yeah. Can I work while I'm waiting for my green card work permit? You cannot. Thank you, Miss Simi, for answering that question. Okay. See. Oh, and see, let me say something in addition to that. I'm a lawyer. So if you're asking me whether you can do something that is not legal, I can possibly, you can possibly expect that I'm going to tell you yes. Just the same thing I tell people when I have consultation and people's like, she's a lawyer, oh, 𝐸𝐴𝐥𝐸𝐾 when people say 𝐸𝐴𝐥𝐸𝒂𝒏𝒕, I stop now, like, hey, let me let you know something. I understand and I appreciate that you're probably, you trust me more because we speak the same language, native language. I get that. We're from the same country. But I am a lawyer. I work too hard for my license. If you tell me something, and obviously whatever you tell me during the consultation is confidential, but if you tell me something that's going to jeopardize my license or conflict me out in the sense that you tell me something that by law it's illegal, and I will not take your case. I cannot take your case because I have to attest on your behalf that what the information you've given me is true. And for me to do that, it means I am putting my license on the line. So, let me stop you right there. I don't know what you're about to tell me, but that sounds like, okay, you want to tell me something that is off for me. That's it. I can't help you. So if you ask me whether you can work without authorization, how do I file for my dad in Nigeria as a U.S. citizen? We can sit down and talk about that, but you usually will go the route of filing an I-130 petition for alien relative for him. Thank you, Illinois Sanctuary, olalealawfirm.com. That's on Instagram for those who want to use that. Go through our website. I don't know. I think there was a whole lot of traffic in our website because at the time during the day, I could not even upload, reload that website. And I was like, okay, thank you, Jesus. Most of our written contact came from the website today. And so I was like, okay, what's going on? How long does it take for an interview after doing fingerprinted asylum? Forever. I have people who there's a guy whose green card came in last week. I just sent a letter to withdraw his asylum application because he got his green card already through marriage. He filed his asylum since 2017. So, yeah. That's the story of our life. How long does it take USCIS to approve a derivative minor I-131 based off of vow? I can't tell you that. So USCIS /person times, y'all. That's where you can all go to get person times. But what I'm seeing is that USCIS is approving, especially for minors who do not have social security numbers yet. They're approving their EADs and I-131 combo cards faster than any other age group. Dennis one. I'll call you tomorrow morning. You can call my office. That's fine. But if you want to talk about your case, you would have to set up a proper paid consultation. Thank you, Ms. Chidima. How are you too? After getting your VAW approved, how long does it take to get your travel documents? What travel documents? The packages dined with Almighty. Better believe it. You better believe it. I should have used. Now I know I can use that. Yeah, the packages were eating with Jesus. So they had, that's oil from fish or something. I don't know. Hey. Don't be asking me questions because, like, what in 𝒂𝒏𝒕 with overload? Talon the headache, talon look Panadol. Yeah. Let's see. Is it Michael or Michelle? I don't know. I hope I haven't murdered your name. I would like to make inquiries about national interest waiver and what the chances of getting approved. I never give you chances of getting approved. I just tell you the one thing I always say I guarantee is my work. I guarantee that I'm going to do the best of giving the best of my ability as much as God has given me strength to do, but I don't give chances. I just don't. First of all, it is irresponsible of me, or maybe irresponsible is not the right word, but I can't give chances. That's just not part of what I can do as a lawyer. I can only tell you what I'm able to do. I can tell you what the But I can evaluate your case and tell you, hey, it's worth a shot or not. But it's not like, hey, you have 90% chance of approval. I can't do that. After your I-360 is approved, how long does it take to get your green card? File the green card together with her VAW case. So I've said this several times. Let me say it again. Even though you filed your green card application concurrently with your VAW case, the only thing you get from that is you retain that priority date, right? Your green card application is just sitting, and it just allows you to get work permit and travel document while your case is pending, but it's just sitting dormant. When the approval case is not approved, then that's when 485 begins to dance, and it will dance to National Benefit Center first. If the dance is good enough, where they say, okay, you don't need an interview, then they send you a narrative for your medicals, and that, then you send that in, and then they approve your case. If the dance is going to lead you to an interview, then they schedule for an interview. But how long that's going to take depends on those factors and where your field office is going to be. I filed for asylum in 2016 and haven't been called for an interview. Do you have any idea what year my interview might be? Nope. How can I set up an appointment? If you go to our website, or even on Instagram, go on my profile on our page, click on the link, and on our website, just on the banner, you will see that I'll call my office tomorrow, and they'll be able to help you, or send a text on WhatsApp, and Lydia will send you the information. Thank you, Illinois Sanctuary. Listen, you're just too much. You really are too much. You just answered. He just answered my question for. Thank you. Appreciate that. Okay, let me tackle. Let me come back and tackle TikTok people, because I was like, Lord Jesus, I like your hairstyle. Thank you. Can someone that's a student status in USA doing 1099 contract job buy a house in US? First of all, if you are on an F status, evaluation of your status is you working, unless you have OPT or you're working on campus. So I would not want to put it out there that you're working openly and violating your F1 status. Whether or not you can buy a house, that's up to the bank, and that's up to the bank. How much do you charge to do VAW? I don't have a set fee. Fees are determined when we've had a paid consultation, and then I know what needs to be done in your case. Then I give you a fee. Is it advisable to contact a lawyer before getting married to your citizen spouse or after? I usually say if you have some issues, that if you're already thinking about contacting a lawyer before you get married, then that means that's your indication that you need to sit down with a lawyer before you get married. My sister-in-law has been waiting for an interview since February of last year. Okay, regarding what? My husband's case got to NVC. How long is it going to take to schedule interview? He's in Germany. That would depend on the embassy. Okay, let's see. Them kids, mom 6. Thank you. If you are in removal proceedings and you get married and do not seek asylum in the 1 year, okay, how can it fix? If you're in removal proceeding and you get married and did not seek the asylum in the 1 year, sit down with a lawyer and talk about your case, because I'm not really, there's a whole lot of moving parts. Talking of removal proceedings, so I have it's been a good week. It's been a great week. I have another case where my client filed for VAW. He did this on his own, and his VAW case was approved, and filed concurrently for his 485. So he's been able to use that to work in all things. Anyway, long story short, got a letter of administrative closure from USCIS that they're closing his I-45. Turns out that way back, when his abuser filed an I-130 and she withdrew her petition. Okay, hold on one second. TJ, y'all will not hear me on TikTok right now. T, one second. Hey baby, can you turn off your AirPods? Yeah, because can y'all hear me on TikTok? Can you turn, because I'm using his old phone for TikTok. So yeah, no problem. Let me know if you can still hear me back on TikTok. Anyway, so he got the letter. The administratively closed his I-45 because way back, messed up his immigration status, which was part of his case anyway. And because of that, he was placed in removal proceedings and he never knew. Luckily for him, there was no order in absentia or anything. He was placed in removal proceedings 4 or 5 years ago. He did not know. The first time he got to know was when they sent him the letter that they were administratively closing his case. Long story short, he retained my services. So we filed the motion request, a request for prosecutorial discretion, and I just sent it. Did you almost send it? I think it was Monday, Tuesday, Monday, Sunday or Monday, one of this week. Y'all, when I tell you that God's favor is just, I'm telling you, is just knocking things out this week. ICE attorney on his case. The specific ICE attorney on his case. I was heading to court yesterday. My secretary called me and said, hey, and there's a call, because whenever attorneys call, okay, you got to, because I don't know what, there's an attorney calling from Atlanta. He says he's calling from the ICE attorney's office and he needs to speak to you about, I knew I put him through. Call me himself and say, hey, I'm the one on your kids, yada, yada, yada. I've read through this and no worries. I completely agree with you. So, hey, put in the motion if you would draft the motion to dismiss proceedings, send it to me. I'll sign it and we can file it. Y'all. And I was like, I'll be damned. When I texted him, because I sent him a screenshot of the email, he was like, wow, didn't you just send it? Like, yeah. So now we get to have that terminated, and then he can, continue reopen that with USCIS and continue with his life. How can you contact us? 334-341-4475. 334-341-4475. Or go on the TikTok page. You see the contact information is there. Let's see. Okay. My number is on my page, on the profile page. Please go on the profile. You would see a number as well as a website address. I was granted cancellation removal last week. Congratulations, George. How long do I have to wait to get for the green card? I can't tell you that, but congratulations. That is awesome. That is amazing. Okay, let's see. I am an F1 student visa. How long should I wait to get married to an American citizen? How long have you been here for? The only concern about being on F1 is just make sure you don't want to violate the intention of your visa. So if you do that really, really soon, that may be a red flag as far as maybe that was your intention to start with. Okay. It's been 6 months since my I-130 was approved by USCIS, but I have not heard from NVC. I'm worried. Okay, this is Akoa being one. My first question to you is, did you request that the file be transferred to the National Visa Center, or check your approval notice that you got from USCIS? If your what does your approval notice say? Does it say that it's been forwarded to National Visa Center? If it does not say that, then most likely you did not request for them to do that. So the first thing you would need to do, if that's the case, you would have to file an I-824 form requesting for USCIS to forward your file to the National Visa Center. So that's the first thing I want you to go ahead and do. It's been 10 months since I filed my I-751. Do you know how long it takes? So I'm not going to answer any question about how long it's taken. You guys can all go to uscis.gov/processing times. That is the information that we all have access to, and you'll be able to see how long a particular application and or petition is taken. Okay. Where am I located? So my office is physically located in Alabama, but I represent immigration clients in all states. I do not every, mainly family, employment, and humanitarian cases. What I do immigration case regarding when it comes to immigration. If you're granted asylum, can you travel? You got to get your refugee document to travel. Can one be in removal without knowing? Absolutely. Absolutely. Because that's what I just said. My client did not even know he was in removal proceedings. So yeah. Can someone let me know can you still hear me on TikTok? Because I know that was that interruption. I see Miss Wallace says I'm going back to YouTube. But can someone let me know if you can still hear me in TikTok? I would appreciate that. Perfect. Thank you, people. I appreciate that. Let's see. Okay, good. Awesome. I-751 case pending since 2018, need to be done in 2021. No reply till now. What do I do? Send them a demand letter like I did. Because I don't know. Consult with lawyers and see what's going on in your case. But I-751s are taking forever. But because you have had an interview 2 years now, I would want to know why that is still pending. Because the same thing I did, there was a case we did not last year, August 2021. And then when it was about September of last year, about a year, I told my client, listen, I'm going to send him a letter, my demand letter. It may not come back in our favor, but that's the only thing we can do at this point because it's been a year now and they need to do something. And she goes, okay, sister lawyer. And we sent them a letter, my demand letter. That wasn't as direct and very brash as the one we just sent this week, but it was still about the same effect. And we sent them a letter, and I think it was within 30 days. They approved her I-751 and her N-400. So I would, if you have a lawyer, consult with a lawyer. If not, then you may want to call USCIS and see what's going on. As a U.S. citizen living outside the U.S., can I petition for a daughter while still outside? You can. Keep it in mind, however, at the time that you are, she's adjusting and or applying for immigrant visa, one of the requirements is you have to be domiciled in the United States. So that has to be your main residence. To be sure you're not in removal, I always advise people go on the EOIR, just put in EOIR case status, put in your alien number, and it would show whether or not you have a case in immigration court. In addition to that, there's 1-800 toll-free number you can call, and it would ask you for your alien number. Put that in just to verify and to be sure that you do not have a pending removal proceeding, because the last thing you want is to be removed in absentia. Now, if you can prove that you never got notice, ineffective assistance counsel, you've got some solid justifiable grounds to file a motion to reopen, then you can look into that as well. Okay. All right. So I think I got all those questions. Uh, Good evening, Miss Wallace. How are you? Congressman says my case is in the local USCIS that has jurisdiction and they're waiving interview. It's I-45 based and approved I-360, and the case was transferred to Lee Summit at first. Is this normal? I can tell you that is normal. Excuse me. So, I mean, I can't talk about a case without knowing, but if that's what you were told, then I would, I will believe them. You can see my kid is gonna come and make sure I'm okay. I'm good. Thank you. All right, people. Is it normal to have an I-751 application transferred from Nebraska to Lee Summit? See, y'all have to understand something. There's nothing abnormal with USCIS. There's just nothing abnormal with USCIS. It's USCIS. There's nothing abnormal. I'll give an example. Repeat the process to check if your removal EOIR case status. Put EOIR, E elephant, O orange, I ink, R rice. Case status on Google. Put in your alien number. Just put in your alien number, and then if that brings up something, then obviously you're on immigration court. If it doesn't bring up anything under your number, then the next step is put in EOIR case status toll-free number on Google. Everybody has Google. And then call them, put in your alien number. It will let you know whether you have a pending case or not. Okay. There's nothing abnormal with USCIS. It's USCIS. They can transfer anything. Example. They've been using Nebraska Service Center because of the increase in applications that Vermont Service Center is getting. They've been redirecting to Nebraska Service Service Center to issue receipt notices. And after they've issued that, we're getting this week, I think we got over 100 transfer notices of recently filed cases, because they issued receipt notices. LIN is what is happening, and then we got transfer notices saying it's been transferred to the office that has jurisdiction over your case. It's USCIS. So I'm not even thinking, because when you file VAWA, we're sending to Essex Junction in Vermont. So are they now rerouting everything to Nebraska and then back to? There's nothing abnormal with USCIS. That's all. Okay, let's see. Let me take. If the person is still on, then we could call it a day or a night. Whichever one. Okay, I don't think they're on anymore. All right, people. Once again, if you need our help and you need to contact us, phone number is 334-341-4475. You can also visit our website at olalayalawfirm.com. And you're welcome. And I will see you guys today's Thursday next week. So I'd like to share about when we get to NAS, I share that too. Not every time, because nobody cares to spread bad news, but sometimes I share because it's just reality. That's just what it is. There's some cases that I work hard in every single case, but there's some cases that it's just not doing it with USCI. So for whatever reason, whatever case may be, but whenever we pray and hope that we have more of good news each and every time. And I always like to share that because it is an inspiration to everybody else who's got their own cases pending. If you've got a pending case, knowing that someone else, hearing other people's experiences, other people's journeys, you will find similarities in your case, right? And I've shared my own immigration journey. I grew up in Lagos. I grew up in Victoria Island. So I'm a city girl, like through and through city girl. Moved to Boston, lived in Chicago. But because of immigration status, I had to move down south and I was still married then, to a town of 5,000 people. And I was like, yeah, wow. Like, illegal going his ground for divorce. But that was my journey. And there was times I didn't see a way. I couldn't figure it out. And it was like, times was like, you know what, I'm going back to Nigeria. It's not that serious. But when I look back and I know that every step of the way, God was faithful. God showed up at the right time. Sleepless nights, I know, but there is light at the end of the tunnel. And I actually personally posted that because I love to give inspiration each morning, that it may take you 2, 3, 4 times longer to get there than somebody else. But what matters is that you got there. Hello, Epic Movement. What matters is that you got there. It's not how long it took you to get there. What matters is that you got there. Don't use somebody else's clock to run your own life race, because our seasons are completely different. Your blessing from God has a timestamp on it. And that timestamp is completely different from mine. And mine is completely different from yours. So I cannot, and you cannot base your own blessing or your own destiny or your purpose on somebody else's life clock. You can't. But when we all share in other people's grace and their victories and success, and know the stories behind them, and know that some had it so, look at my client, 20 plus years, but now she can rejoice and she can move on with life, and just, she was crying happy tears. And when I'm getting very, very, because it is something that I know that I could do this job in my sleep, because I know what it feels like. I know what it feels like, people. When I tell you that I have been through, my ex-husband and I were texting the other day. I was like, we're talking about 𝒕𝒔, like, these kids, especially the little one was born when, things were setting and all. But my oldest kid is 18, and he was one who really went through it with us. And we're texting like, wow, when we look back at like being broke, being living in a 1-bedroom, it's been a journey. But I would not change anything, because I can look back and know that it was very clear that God orchestrated our steps the way they were supposed to be. And so that's the message every time that everyone's journey is different. I just so believe strongly that God is in everyone's story. As long as you invite him into your story, he will remain there. But your story is different from mine. Mine is different from yours. But let's all rejoice together, believing and knowing and decreeing and declaring that it shall end in praise. You've got to believe it. Abraham hoped against hope. You've got to keep believing. Even when all things seem impossible, you've got to keep believing, because that is when God shows up and shows off, and he makes you rise and he elevates you when you felt and it seemed impossible. So let's just keep going. Let's keep going. Let's keep believing. It shall